When someone says, "Defriend me if you disagree with me," they're not valuing your friendship. How do you set boundaries while still being compassionate? What's up, my EFF? Let me tell you how it is. You've stumbled upon God Jots, a series about the nature of love, compassion, joy, and the real-life connection between human beings. I'm Ender Bowen, Nashville, Tennessee rock pop artist, author, husband, father, complete dork, and aspiring compassionist. Sit back, relax, and be prepared to laugh, cry, maybe even listen to a little soothing R&B for some reason. There's a point in every relationship when you get the distinct feeling that something isn't quite right. Maybe it's a friend who seems to grow more distant when you voice your own opinions. Maybe it's a roommate who thinks showering daily is so 2010s. Or maybe it's someone on social media who declares, "If you don't agree with me, just defriend me already." And as you read those words, you pause, wondering what kind of friendship this person really values. In a world that grows more divided by the day, lines are often drawn in the sand with great ferocity. I'm picturing some jacked up 80s dude with some serious roid rage, digging his toe into the dirt with a primal scream. These lines may look like moral high ground, boundaries of principle, or clear distinctions between right and wrong. But when a person effectively says, "If you're not like me, we can't be friends," you're witnessing something that has nothing to do with values or morals and everything to do with control. If ever there was a red flag. Let's be honest. This kind of declaration hits you where it hurts. We all want to be loved, accepted, and understood by the people we care most about. Friendship, after all, isn't just a convenient label we throw around or stick on any random jar of jelly. It's one of the fundamental ways we live out love and community. We look to our friends for support, for shared experiences, and for the space to be ourselves. And to be fair, I need a lot of that space. But the thing about healthy friendship is that it's meant to be dynamic. You and your friends aren't meant to be carbon copies of each other. Friendships thrive in the balance of shared interests and differing perspectives. It grows when we engage each other in conversation, especially when those conversations get tough. Disagreement in a friendship doesn't need to be a deal breaker. If anything, it's often a chance to deepen the relationship, to understand someone else's heart better. Yet, when someone gives an ultimatum like "defriend me if you disagree," they're not asking for understanding, they're asking for submission. They're signaling that your relationship is conditional, based entirely on your willingness to agree with them. And when a relationship is reduced to conditional terms, it's no longer based on love or respect. It's based on control. Let's break this down a little bit more, shall we? Put a little soothing R&B beat in there, if you like. When someone says "defriend me if you disagree with me," they're not valuing your friendship beyond a specific, narrow parameter. Agreement. They're saying, "I only want you in my life if you think like I do." They're cutting out the possibility for growth, for challenge, for true human connection, which is a shame because it's stunting their growth as a human being too. This isn't just a statement of disagreement, it's a rejection of diversity, of the very things that make friendship rich. We don't need friendships where our worth is tied to conformity, and we certainly don't need friendships where disagreement equates to rejection. A true friend doesn't demand your allegiance to their every belief. A true friend values your presence and respects your differences, even if they don't always understand or agree with them. If someone makes their friendship contingent on whether or not you agree with them, that's a problem. Why? Because it means they're less likely to be compassionate, understanding, or empathetic when things get tough. It's not just about this one issue they're upset about. It's a window into how they approach relationships as a whole. Are they in it for mutual respect and growth? Or are they in it for the power that comes with others' affirmation? That's where you need to ask yourself an important question. Is this a friendship that serves both of you? Or is it a friendship that's more about serving their ego? So what do you do when you find yourself on the receiving end of this kind of ultimatum? Is defriending someone in this scenario unkind or lacking in compassion? Not at all, I say. Compassion is not synonymous with allowing yourself to be controlled or disrespected. Compassion can and should have boundaries. It's entirely possible to respect someone's right to their opinion, to honor their humanity, and still choose to step away from a relationship that no longer aligns with what's healthy for you. This isn't about rejection, It's about acknowledgement. You're acknowledging that their ultimatum tells you more about how they see friendship than any heartfelt conversation you could ever have. You're recognizing that staying in a relationship where your value is dependent upon agreement isn't what you need in your life. You can still value their perspective, appreciate what they've meant to you in the past, and yet walk away with your self-respect intact. The possibility that opens up here is freedom. Freedom to let go of the need to please or conform. Freedom to be in relationships that nourish and respect you for who you are, not just for how much you agree. When you release friendships built on the foundation of conformity, you make room for the kinds of relationships that are genuinely loving, compassionate, and enriching. It's not a lack of compassion to walk away from someone who can't tolerate your differences. In fact, it's a profound act of self-compassion. You're choosing to honor your own value instead of allowing it to be diminished by someone else's insecurity. Look, in the end, it comes down to this. Friendship should never be held hostage to agreement. If someone's only reason for maintaining a relationship with you is that you think, act, or believe the same as they do, you've already lost the foundation of what friendship is meant to be. Walking away from these kinds of friendships isn't about being discompassionate, it's about protecting your peace and ensuring that you're not investing energy into those relationships that diminish you. You can still love them from a distance. You can still hope the best for them, but you don't owe them your friendship if they're not willing to see you as a whole person, separate from the need for their affirmation. The truth is, you're not being cruel by stepping away. Cruel. Let me make that clear. I said cruel. You're recognizing that if this is the level of relationship that they want, then they don't really want the fullness of who you are. And you deserve friends who do. When someone says defriend me if you disagree, believe them. They've already made it clear what they value, and it isn't your friendship. But here's the beauty in that realization. You're free. You're free to invest in relationships where love isn't conditional, where differences aren't deal breakers, and where you are valued just as much as you value others. Compassion doesn't mean holding on to relationships that hurt you. Compassion is about recognizing the inherent worth in yourself and others, and making sure that your relationships reflect that worth. So let go of the need to stay connected to someone who draws hard lines. Respect their choice, and in doing so, respect yourself even more. All right, now it's your turn. Oh, I forgot to do the thing. All right. Oh, I did it wrong. Now it's your turn. When have you experienced someone you know threatening to defriend you on social media? What did you do as a result? Have you ever threatened to defriend someone else? What was their response? Or, if that was a blanket threat, for example, to your Facebook friends in general, what kinds of responses did you receive? What suggestions might you have for dealing with these kinds of situations? I would love for you to share your thoughts about this episode with my growing community of aspiring compationists. Find out how to join us on Discord by going to enderbowen.com/Discord. If you like this episode and want to be notified when new ones are uploaded, make sure you don't leave without hitting that subscribe button, or subscribe to God Jots on your favorite podcast streaming service. You can also check out more God Jots, as well as subscribe to the mail list for ebooks, updates, and exclusive content at godjots.com. Until next time, be honest with yourself. Be truthful with others. Give people the opportunity to surprise you. And remember that it's impossible to have absolutely nothing in common with another human being. Be a little light in the world. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Lawnmowers. They're everywhere, mate. It's just a big deal. Nobody likes it. Don't I hear it? All right. Try again. Yeah. Take 2. Take 47. All right.